AdLib is the DSP-agnostic buying platform to scale your programmatic campaigns smarter, faster, and more profitably. AdLib helps independent agencies and marketers deliver premium programmatic performance without the complexity, cost, or overhead of traditional DSPs. Their platform provides the tools, data, and automation to run enterprise-quality campaigns, from CTV and audio to geofencing and YouTube, all under one roof with zero trafficking headaches. Plus, they're not just a platform, they're your growth partner. The AdLib team helps you win new business, expand budgets, and deliver measurable ROI that keeps clients coming back. It's time to unlock programmatic. Join leading marketers worldwide who are using AdLib to deliver more campaigns with better results. Check out getadlib.com. Welcome to Open Market, a podcast about building companies in the advertising industry. I'm Joe Zappin. I'm joined by Eric Franchi and the CEO of Gigi, Adam Epstein. Welcome, Adam.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be here.
Adam, your audio sounds great.
I appreciate that, Eric. I appreciate that. I'm the one dude that is not using AirPods here, so leveling everything up for the fans.
So to disclose, Adam is CEO of Gigi. Gigi is a portco of Imperium, and we thought it'd be interesting to bring Adam on today to talk about building a vertical AI agent. When Imperium first invested in Gigi, it was an idea. It was a bet on Adam, and the original vision was a buying and measurement platform for CTV. That business was going well, but it also coincided with the AI wave that hit everybody a couple of years ago. And I remember, Adam, we were catching up in our offices in New York City, and you alluded to the fact that you had become completely AI pilled and were thinking about Gigi becoming a much bigger thing. And, you wanted to have some more conversations about where you were taking the business. Fast forward to last year's Marketecture Live, you showed Gigi off to the world, and it was a conversational AI agent for media management, end to end, on top of a DSP. In doing so, you built a vertical AI agent, and you did a pod with Ari and I last year where you walked through the process of building a vertical AI agent in a way that I had not heard before. And it was so impressive. It was like my favorite pod of the year. And I wanted to have you back just to dig deeper on this whole thing about like everything you did last year, and AI and all of that stuff. So with that said, we'll kick the conversation off.
So Adam, first, for those who haven't heard the Marketecture pod or weren't at the Luminous event, tell us a little bit more about what you build and why.
Cool. So Gigi is the AI media manager for the Amazon DSP. We work with agencies and brands who are active on the Amazon DSP, in which we have deconstructed how they spend their days and created a set of agentic AI workflows and automations so that our customers can make better decisions, improve advertising performance, and spend time on the more strategic things while AI assigns all of the mundane tasks that humans don't want to perform. We've done okay, or we've done quite well. We launched this product this past summer. We've grown 700% since the summer. We won a prestigious Amazon Partner Award, the Global Technology Innovation Partner Award, in November of this past year. And we're in a very good position to continue to grow our business. Now, one of the things that's unique to us, at least, is this is our first time, like many people, selling, activating, getting new customers on board a vertical AI agent. And admittedly, we learned a lot and we failed a bit along the way. Particularly, there's been a lot of learning opportunities the past 6 months. And earlier this month, Jason Lemkin, the B2B SaaSter guy, wrote a post about how he was implementing AI agents across his company, SaaSter, some of his learnings in implementing it. And so I thought it would be helpful for the broader community to understand some of our learnings on the other side of it, as a vertical AI agent, selling vertical AI and implementing it at enterprises, where we found success and where we found some hurdles along the way. And we tried to convey some of these lessons in a manner that can be more broadly applied, not necessarily within ad tech, but more broadly applied across all AI, and sharing our learnings along the way. So hopefully we can be a little bit better.
Adam, Doc is great. You have a lot of wisdom to share with the audience about this, and tons of people are going to be looking into starting these companies or integrating AI agents as a product into their existing companies. So the first category of lessons you had for folks centered on sales. And something people have been talking a lot about in the entire tech industry is this feverish desire to buy AI. So maybe start there. Like, how are you seeing that actually play out in sales conversations? And how do you navigate the realities of it?
I think if you look more broadly over the past 5 or 6 years of people buying B2B SaaS software, we saw this massive tidal wave of opportunity for anyone and everyone during COVID, in which people were buying everything. Then we saw this post-COVID consolidation in which everyone said, hey, if this isn't a mission critical software product that we've onboarded in the last 2 to 3 years, let's cut it. And point solutions that were launched during that time, and whereas there may have been market opportunities for those point solutions, were ultimately cut. And I think that we're now seeing a shift back, or a shift to a new paradigm in which people are identifying, just like everyone, that AI is fundamentally changing the way that they work. Many of these AI companies, while they won't be the system of record that they might have across a wide variety of compound products, they might be a little bit pointed. For example, we build software that's AI media managers for enterprise media management and measurement. However, our first product is for the Amazon DSP. We only support the Amazon DSP. But all that's to say, people are interested in buying AI because they realize that, one, these products are going to become more sophisticated. These models are only going to get smarter. And there's an opportunity right now to institutionalize AI within their organization. And we're just seeing a much better appetite for initial sales calls and a faster sales cycle for those that are implementing it. So that's how we felt. And this isn't unique. Like, everyone knows they want to buy AI. Eric is only seeing AI pitches as a VC. We live in an AI first world, and all new technology vendors need to be vetted with an AI first landscape against it.
That makes a lot of sense. One of the things that I'm hearing from potential customers for solutions like this, right? So it's ad tech, it's CMOs, it's agencies, is there's a mandate to buy AI. But to your point, betting the farm on a system of record when things are moving so fast and, you can't even necessarily kind of build a process internally to do that is not the way. So, these vertical solutions, these let's step into this, let's leg into this, seem to be the ones that are getting the most adoption.
Yeah. And it's those that are able to identify very specific workflows that are pains within an organization. So we've started on the Amazon DSP. There's a variety of reasons for it. But one of those pains is that the Amazon DSP is widely known as being a very laborious media channel to operate. And when you take out the laborious, mundane work that humans don't necessarily like to do, there's an opportunity to automate that with agentic AI. And so if you can identify that pain, and if you can identify that job that you are augmenting and enhancing, then there's certainly opportunities across any vertical AI agent.
You say something similar to another CEO in our portfolio, John Hochter of Newton Research, as thinking about agents. He says agents are, you think of them as employees at the company. You think of agents as sort of kind of jobs at the company. Expand on that.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's funny you bring him up because there's a good anecdote. We were talking to an agency leader. So obviously everyone wants to buy AI, and every agency leader or brand leader is being pitched AI. And one agency leader came to me and saying, like, help us make sense of this. And it's really the job of the salesperson or CEO to help the buyer make sense of how to buy AI. If people want to buy it, they just don't know how. And so everyone's saying agent this, agent that. And they said, these are 5 companies that are being pitched AI agents, you being one of them, Newton Research being another, and like 3 other companies that I've never heard of. And they said, help us make sense of understanding this landscape. And I said, okay, great. There are a host of jobs that you have and roles and team members that you have on your team. If you can directly correlate this vertical AI agent to the role and job on your team, then that AI agent will likely add a lot of value to you. So in the lens of Gigi, many of our customers are very actively hiring programmatic media managers for the Amazon DSP. In the lens of this agency, I don't want to make a pitch for Newton Research here, but it's a company that's obviously doing very well. That company is the AI data analyst for marketing. That agency is hiring a host of data analysts, and they very much fit that need. The other 3 companies that they showed me, I looked at their website and I said, with respect, like I don't know everything about this space, but I don't really know what these companies do. There's a lot of AI stuff. And they certainly don't identify a specific job or workflow that agentic AI can necessarily augment and enhance. And so that's the heuristic that we encourage our customers to understand buying AI is figure out the job. And the best vertical AI agents are able to identify a job in the workforce, whether it's within ad tech or more broadly across the labor force. And they're able to then build those agentic AI workflows around that job.
That's super interesting. So you're saying if someone like Eric were investing in a new agentic product, you would advise them to ask the entrepreneur, what job does this replace, right? And then same thing if entrepreneurs were looking for ideas or testing their ideas, you would say, what job does this replace?
Enhance, or augment, or
enhance.
Strange show.
Well, that was going to be the next question. Is while we have you here, how do you navigate that tension? I mean, I would imagine it's like a big agency. They might be hiring several people to manage the Amazon DSP, and so with your solution, probably they're not hiring 0 people, but maybe they're hiring fewer people, and those people are able to do more. Is that a good way to look at it?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And this is a sales hack that we published. We actually look at job boards of our prospective customers and see if they are hiring for the jobs that we effectively are enhancing. So when I see an agency hiring a programmatic media manager, or specifically when I see an agency hiring 8 programmatic media managers, I explicitly reach out to that agency and say, hey, rather than hiring 8, why don't you hire 4? Allocate that budget that you have to the other 4 to an AI agent that can replicate this work, and see to what extent this AI agent can make your team infinitely more productive. And there's a number of reasons why it works. One, that someone has budget for this. So this is the power of vertical AI, is that it's not just the tech budget, it's now the labor budget that you ostensibly will be able to dip into. And for us, we're not unseating any legacy incumbents. If we talk to any of our potential customers, they're not using any third-party technology to navigate the Amazon DSP. They're navigating the Amazon DSP UI itself. So on account of that, there isn't already tech budget that we have to unseat, but rather it's the labor budget that we can now augment. So one, that there's budget. 2, hiring for programmatic media managers with 3 to 5 plus years of experience on the Amazon DSP is really hard to do. The Amazon DSP itself is probably only 5 years old on a self-serve basis. There's a small fraction of humans in the universe that have this degree of experience. It's tough to find these roles. It's tough to retain these roles. And again, because it's so laborious as it stands right now, if you're not using third-party tech, it's tough to compensate these roles in a manner that's profitable for your agency. So if I can come to you and say, again, this is in the lens of our business, but this could be more broadly applied across any other job. If I can come to you and say, I'm going to make your existing team members infinitely more productive, and instead of hiring those 3 net new people that you budgeted for, hire Gigi and save money and allocate that to your existing team, everyone wins in those situations. So it's really a win-win-win if executed properly. And that's why job postings and job boards are a great sales tack for anyone that's selling into vertical AI.
We might be skipping around a little bit, but it seems like a good time to ask, are you yet at the point with Gigi's adoption to see if people are getting more done and they're getting like superpowers and they're becoming like that much more productive and, just like operating on the DSP more? Or is it like, the 3 of us, I think, are AI optimists, and ultimately people will be freed up to do higher value work? Do you have examples yet of the latter, or is it just too early for that type of stuff?
So one, we began this product in a closed beta with a small group of independent agencies that frankly had very small Amazon DSP teams of 1 to 2 people. And so what we've seen now is these teams have been able to exponentially scale customers while maintaining the same team. So we've seen their spend under management grow by 1.5 to 2 to 3x with the exact same team members, which they wouldn't have otherwise been able to do before. So that's one. The other, for the customers that are coming into our product, again, this is less a go-to-market lessons pitch. This is now like the nature of our product. So excuse me if I go too far deep into this. but heads of programmatic at every agency that we work with have a set of best practices that their team members should follow for day-to-day account management. Realistically, team members are only, just due to time constraints, achieve a small fraction of this. And so what we say is, let's assign all of those tasks to Gigi. And upon doing so, let's understand if you wrote that script of what your team members were supposed to do, if understanding human constraints, if you're not constrained by humans, what can we do now to assign Gigi tasks at infinite AI scale? So within the lens of a DSP, one agency leader said, I do device exclusions if a device is not performing particularly well. And now they just do domain exclusions if a domain isn't meeting certain criteria once in certain impression thresholds have set. And they would otherwise have to run that report manually, look at every single domain, and now Gigi just takes that task. And so what we're able to do is not only allow our customers to increase their customers and revenue with the same team, but we enable them to achieve a level of advertising excellence that they have never been able to achieve before, constrained by human labor.
I have another question that I imagine you get a lot, Adam, which is, why won't Amazon eventually just build this functionality themselves?
So I've been building on Amazon ad tech for 8 years. Previously, I was co-president of a company called Perpetua, which is now owned by Omnicom. Amazon, and in particular, I would say all of the retail media networks, because many of them have ex-Amazon people running them now, they all think partner first. And I think that that was from the AWS lens. Whereas if you pass back like a decade ago in ad tech, many partners of Google and Facebook have horror stories of Google and Facebook shutting off their valves and just replicating what they effectively did. But Amazon very much has a partner first mentality. And so they think very strategically about their API partners, how they can get the best output for their customers. But look, Amazon is making an AI investments. Of course they should. Amazon is one of the smartest and best companies in the world. If they weren't making massive investments in AI, that would be a big red flag. But they announced this product at Unboxed in November, their annual advertising conference called the Ads Agent. And that Ad Agent is self-described as an easy button for entry-level programmatic media managers to democratize access to the Amazon DSP. It's a one-to-many product. We're actually saying something very different. We don't want to raise the floor for the junior media buyer that's new to the Amazon DSP. We want to raise the ceiling on the most sophisticated advertisers. We want to go to a head of programmatic at an agency and say, what are the best practices that you want to employ across every single team member infinitely at AI scale? And how can we do that and customize it specifically for your agency? And the unfortunate reality is that obviously Amazon can't do that. They're not able to build products one-to-one in a fully customizable enterprise specific way. They have to build a one-to-many, press buttons, and every advertiser benefits from it.
Yeah, and to build on that, because I remember when Ari asked you a similar question, you got to start somewhere, right? And again, you've been building on, the Amazon ecosystem for 8 years personally. Good place to start, with clearly opportunity to, start to build out horizontally over time, should you want to.
We do, and we will. And yeah, I've heard there's some good tailwinds around the Amazon DSP these days, which is also helpful.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, that's doing all right.
Too. I figured that was the part too, Adam, would be that also obviously eventually you'll apply the lessons from Amazon to other platforms, I would imagine. But yes, as Eric said, good place to start.
Absolutely.
So when you are selling this type of solution, you have to navigate various levels of an organization, I imagine. You have like the higher ups who are just like excited to buy and they're like, we need to innovate across the entire org. Like you mentioned in your doc, Toby at Shopify said. And then you have the mid-level people who are actually using this thing. How does the sell sort of differ across those levels, and how do you navigate that tension?
This is an excellent question. And a key learning for me is that you absolutely need to have exec buy-in and functional leadership buy-in to implement this. It's funny. The advertising industry talks so much about AI, but in practice, there's actually very limited application of agentic AI relative to other industries. And if you see this across outbound sales, you see this across engineering, and think about other vertical AI agents, engineering leaders and sales leaders across every single company right now are saying, why should we hire this role? Why can't we buy AI and apply AI to that role? And I don't think that that's happening yet within large agencies and brands for media management. And so where we've had wins is when a CEO or CMO or exec says, hey, we're implementing AI and we are intentionally choosing to not hire a new role until we've demonstrated that AI can't replicate the need for that role. And then additionally, there's functional leadership alignment such that the functional leader is like, I want to make my team AI first. I believe in this technology and I believe it can benefit our team and our clients. And I want to make our team AI first. Where we fail and where we have admittedly have failed, a pilot hasn't worked, is when a functional leader says, I have budget and I want to assign that budget to humans and not AI. And the CEO says, go for it. You make the call. And that literally happened earlier this month. We were in a pilot with an awesome agency and the CEO did not have buy-in on Gigi and having a top-down Toby style directive. And a functional leader said, I have budget and I want to allocate that budget to hiring with 3 new humans immediately. And so unless you have that alignment, again, this speaks 100% for any vertical AI agent. I was listening to a podcast recently with Keith Rabois, the VC at Khosla Ventures, where he said, an outbound sales tactic that hasn't worked for the past 5-6 years is going directly to the CEO and having them punt down to the functional leader. Whereas now it's actually a good tactic to go directly to the CEO because you need CEO alignment or you need exec alignment at some point in the process if you want your AI agent to be deployed beyond the initial pilot.
What is it that gets sort of functional leaders or middle managers like excited? And what is it that gets like the high level execs excited?
High level exec, unfortunately, is buy AI, operate more efficiently, like the promise of buy AI and cut OpEx. That's an unfortunate reality of every single company today is everyone is pressured to buy AI and cut OpEx. I think the thing from a functional leader should really be threefold. One, particularly within advertising, it's quite clear that if you begin to assign a lot of these mundane tasks to an AI agent, the actual work product, in our case, advertising performance, whether it be for a client or a brand itself, is going to improve. And we have demonstrable performance that we can generally speaking show. So that's one. The other is no one signed up to be a media manager at agency X to copy and paste line items over and over again. No one signed up to be a media manager at enterprise brand Y to spend a week updating creative tags in a DSP just so campaigns can run at the next quarter. We are removing the tasks that they don't like so that they can actually enjoy their job. Like one of the missions of what we do is, can we positively change the way in which people work? And so if you can begin to assign AI these low level tasks, the team is able to perform at a much higher level on the things that they want to actually do. So a functional leader should want to embrace this change. And then lastly, this speaks to my piece about our account management reframing. And this gets into a different topic of account management and how we approach implementing Gigi. And that one, Gigi needs to have an owner. The same way in which you hire a new team member, that new team member needs to have a manager in which that manager's singularly responsible for the success of that new team member. A new vertical AI agent deployed into an enterprise needs to have an owner who is singularly responsible for that success. If it doesn't have an owner, then the same way that new team member that was just hired, if it didn't have a manager, fails, the vertical AI agent will very likely fail. This isn't less work for that functional leader. This is new work. I think one of the things that came about in the Jason Lemkin post about how they've implemented AI is that the person that's actually implementing AI is doing more work than before because they're now responsible for training and managing an AI agent. But hey, what is probably the most important skill over the next 5 years that any functional leader can ever learn, which is training and managing AI agents? You know, I think you guys actually, this is your podcast that I recited all the time. You had Oren Hoffman on your podcast a long time ago, like in the fall, in which he said the job of middle management or functional leadership over the past 20 years of how they've excelled is building and scaling a team. And the job of middle management and functional leadership over the next decade is going to be sourcing AI agent vendors and deploying them across your enterprise. I actually recite that quote a lot. Credit to Oren. And so we now reframe our implementation of Gigi to these enterprises by saying, you know what, for you, the functional leader, or whoever is responsible for Gigi, this is not going to be less work. It's actually probably going to be incremental work for you. But congrats, you've been given the gift of developing the most important skill over the next 5 years. And we are here to make you an expert on this as much as we possibly can. And we now actually send congrats messages with handwritten notes for me saying like, hey, like, congrats, you're now learning how to train and manage a vertical AI agent. And that reframing has been super successful for us.
That's so good. Oren's term was vendor selection, vendor management, but well taken. Total sidebar, maybe not total sidebar. He had a post, I think it was yesterday or the day before on LinkedIn, because he's obsessed with this vendor management stuff personally. I think that's where some of it comes from, where he pointed out all of the SaaS products that he has canceled and where he's going deep on. So I recommend everybody take a look at it. I won't give it away.
I bet you he's gone deep down the Claude Code rabbit hole if that's the case.
Cancel ChatGPT.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. And maybe what you just said in terms of you need to invest more upfront to get the long-term learnings is partially the answer to the next question, which is you've observed that agentic AI pilots need to be longer. And is it because of that? Is it because of the just, let's break current practices and workflows, rebuild them, then go from there? Or is it encompassing more things?
Yeah. In my past career working in ad tech, I've always found that pilots of like 1 to 2 months are ideal to quickly assess the technology and then implement the technology across a variety of accounts and scale it however you choose to do so. With agentic AI, the technology is no longer the test. The test is actually the change management required within an organization to implement this at scale in a profitable way for them. And change management takes time. And so generally speaking, we've actually then shifted our pilots. It's actually worse for us because it's the near-term revenue impact. We do discounted flat monthly pilots for a fixed period of time, usually 4 months now. Because those 4 months, it usually has, 6 to 8 weeks of initially training and deploying the vertical AI agent across a collection of clients. And then it's like, okay, this works. So what does it mean that it works? Where is the edge? What is our client to rep ratio at our agency? How do we think about staffing our team differently? Maybe we don't backfill for that role for that employee that just left. Maybe we repurpose that team member on this team that's always wanted to do something else. And so that change management it's a people problem. We're now not constrained by technology. We're constrained by existing org charts. And so we would encourage our customers to take more time in the pilot to think about how they can re-architect their org chart to be AI first once they've deployed Gigi.
How do you approach pricing?
Specifically for pilots, this is another thing that's been unique to us so we charge a percentage of media spend, which is usage-based pricing. And so this isn't necessarily a new concept, but AI agents and AI in general really benefits from scale and really benefits from maximum context. And so our job is to achieve as much scale and context as possible such that agency can make that assessment of the overall operational efficiencies that Gigi can bring them. And so we strongly encourage our agency partners to onboard as many clients as they can to really test that. But because we charge a percentage of spend, we don't want price to be a point of friction to demonstrating value within the pilot. So we used to do pilots where we would charge our percentage of media, and the only thing that would be a variable is term. Like rather than doing an annual agreement, you're on month to month, you can cancel at any time. And now instead, we've taken a short-term hit on revenue so that our agency partners can onboard as many customers as they want within that pilot period. So Gigi can demonstrate as much value as she possibly can. So we do discounted flat monthly fees for the purposes of our pilot. And frankly, I would encourage anyone that is working in vertical AI to think about how you can remove short-term price as a friction point so that you can achieve maximum scale and maximum context in order to demonstrate that value as fast as you can.
How does account management differ between SaaS and vertical AI agents? You mentioned that it's a heavier lift, it's more involved, and you're really developing a skill that you're going to use over the course of the coming years. Just tell us a little bit more about what that looks like in practice and how you get your customers set up to do it well.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's unique in vertical AI that's certainly become all the rage these days is this notion of a forward deployed engineer. And the idea of a forward deployed engineer, which Palantir brought forward and made sexy, is you would assign an individual engineer who identifies the customer problem, is able to implement the customer's technology and set of data into their core product and build enterprise level customization in an agentic manner. And I think that really only works, to be honest, if the average contract value of prospective customer is well into the millions of dollars. I think the concept of what that forward deploy engineer is doing should be broadly applied to any vertical AI agent. And the people that are building an AI should think about ways in which they can architect their product to be as flexible as possible without engineering resources and allow their account management team to build those customizations and workflows. So a specific example within our product is Gigi can be assigned any task that you would perform in the Amazon DSP. So anytime we onboard a new customer, we ask two things, one in jest and one in actuality. One is, what is the Venn diagram of buttons that you push the most in the Amazon DSP and buttons that you dislike pushing the most? And how can we automate that? And then two, we'll actually look at their line item and order history in the Amazon DSP and see what they do the most. But rather than replicating that specifically, we understand the why of why they're doing that. And then we actually will build the initial tasks or the initial agentic workflows within Gigi for our customers. So out of the box, at minimum, all of our new customers have the baseline level of work that they were otherwise doing manually in the DSP totally automated within Gigi. Then our customers can take these tasks that we've implemented because we know how to get the most of our product. And again, this is an account manager. This isn't a full stack engineer that's forward deployed to an agency, but it's an account manager spending a lot of time. We often recommend like literally sitting down with that functional leader at their office, sitting beside them in a desk and saying, what are the ways in which you work and how can we build against that? And we found just a tremendous amount of success once we've been able to do that.
To the point of getting customers set up to succeed with Gigi, you noted in your doc one specific thing I thought was super interesting, which is that prompting is a skill. I've
Yes.
definitely found this in my own work. Like, it's not like some people talk about it as if it's obvious, like you just start using it, but it's like actually the quality of the prompts and then the editing and the iteration determines the quality of the output. And that is a skill in the same way, like say writing is a skill. So how do you approach that?
Yeah. We assume that everyone is going to be bad at prompting, and it's our problem if they're bad at prompting. One thing that I like to say is it's not your customer's problem if they're bad at prompting, because ultimately they're using your product and you should expect them to be bad. So once we took that into mind, like our first set of customers would be prompting Gigi. And the challenge is that so many people have been using general purpose LLMs in which you can have a vague, ambiguous prompt and ultimately get a decent output. With vertical AI agents that are specifically pointed towards certain tool calling and RAG with a specific set of instructions to achieve the output that's desired, you need to know how to point the agent in that right direction. And so once we've done that, we've just completely reframed the mechanisms with which we teach prompting. So one, I have a 4.5-year-old daughter, and I spent one weekend in November doing Duolingo ABC with her. And I was amazed by the Duolingo language learning framework. And so I said, hey, how can we apply this language learning framework that's clearly working on my 4.5-year-old daughter to prompting lessons? And so our team then built prompting workshops using some of those Duolingo language learning mechanisms. And since then, we've now seen like immediate level of prompting sophistication across every one of our customers. For all of our customers, once we understand their workflows and what they want to do within Gigi, we build prompt libraries so that they can very easily copy and paste prompts, albeit changing like date ranges and advertisers and KPIs, so that they can just copy and paste and make those changes. And then additionally, very early on in our process, we built saved prompts. So once someone finds a prompt worked, they're able to just immediately save it and deploy it and just make subtle changes against it thereafter. And so prompting is 100% a skill. Again, it's similar to training vertical AI agents. These are new skills that we all have to learn. And once we understood that it's our problem if our customers are bad at prompting, and the assumption is that they will be bad, we just immediately sought towards solving that problem as fast as we could.
I think the audience has learned a lot. And I think the audience now understands what I meant at the beginning by Adam is AI pilled. What are you excited about for 2026 generally around AI and AI agents? May be applicable to ad tech, maybe not, just because you're just like so deep in this stuff.
Sure. There are two things that excite me a lot, pretty specific to our product. But again, I think it could be more broadly applied to other agentic AI and vertical AI agents. So one, image generation is something that we have not necessarily worked on yet. And image generation is not just, everyone thinks immediately like creative for image generation, but we tried to build automated deck building for our customers very early on in our Gigi journey. Because if you talk to any agency or brand, there's day-to-day execution of the actual campaigns and optimizations, but a lot of time is spent reporting and deck building. And we tried really hard this time last year to build an awesome like automatic deck creator, and it wasn't great. The technology was not there. But I'm sure everyone has experimented with Nano Banana and image generating technology. And I think that this technology is really going to be very profound. Manis, who Meta just bought, has very cool deck building products that use Nano Banana APIs. And so we think that image generation is going to be particularly impactful for automatic data visualizations. So within advertising, there's a common trend right now of natural language to SQL or getting extractions out of SQL and natural language, and then building report against it. But those reports have kind of just been in CSV chart view. What happens when we can start to visualize that beautifully? And the output of those beautiful visualizations of how can you build a custom dashboard with an LLM in natural language? There's, again, I get back to Jason Lemkin. He's my like savant of B2B SaaS. He has a blog post that I've bookmarked from over a decade ago. And he says the number one feature request of every Series A plus enterprise startup is custom chart packs and objects for building your own dashboards. That's over. I think this year and in the future, it's now going to be custom data visualizations and custom dashboarding in natural language against data sets that are going to be very challenging. And then if you're able to obviously get those data visualizations, why can't you automatically put that in the deck with insights, LLM produced insights based on the context that your advertiser has given you and advertising performance that you already know of? So these are some things that really excite me. So that's one. The other one is we assign Gigi tasks right now. So we're replicating low-level tasks that we know our customers want. This is a bit of a design decision of our product. We've intentionally built our product so that Gigi doesn't change a bid budget flight without make any changes without human direction. And we try to, one, offload AI risk. So everyone's like, oh, like AI, it's going to go off the rails, hallucinations. We're like, hey, like Gigi doesn't make any changes without human direction. It's up to you to review Gigi's work and press change, accept, review. Now our most sophisticated and lead-in customers are saying, hey, for certain things that we've assigned Gigi to that she does really well all the time, just automate it. I don't need to press a button. Gigi can just do it. But the next order of that is if Gigi knows the context and goals and objectives and KPIs of the advertiser, and it has all the tools within the Amazon DSP in order to achieve those goals, why can't Gigi create suggested tasks proactively to our advertisers and say, hey, you were hoping to increase unique incremental reach. Have you considered this PG deal or this audience strategy that you didn't assign to me, but I've just been, looking at things in the background with all of the data that I have access to. And I actually think that this could be super effective for you. And so, one of the benefits of working in AI is that not only are you AI pilled, but you have to be so capability pilled. You have to realize that these capabilities are the one thing that we say to all of our customers, this is the dumbest and slowest that Gigi's ever going to be. And so every new advancements in these models unlocks a step change in functionality that the AI agent can do. And once that AI agent is able to do it, there's an immediate customer benefit that you get to access that you didn't otherwise have before. And so we think about where are these models going? What is the layer of general intelligence that we can build on top of them? And how can we unlock entirely new customer experiences based on that?
Capability pilled. I always learn something from you, man. This is great.
Adam, thanks so much. Clearly a student of the B2B software game, increasingly a teacher of the game. And we appreciate you coming on to impart the lessons to the audience.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.